Pozzuoli today, earthquake swarm. One resident of Pozzuoli reported what they felt, and I'm starting with this. We were inside, sitting on the couch. Most of the building evacuated. It was so strong. Hey guys, interesting video today. A new earthquake swarm with a magnitude 3 that was felt until Naples. So we get updates about this because this swarm has been going on for a few days, but also new discoveries, guys, and this is very, very interesting. New discoveries in the Flegrei fields, an ancient submerged volcano, and a large landslide under the island of Ischia. So that, and I will tell you the number of earthquakes that have happened in 2024 in Campi Flegrei, and that will blow your mind. That and a lot of other things in this video, so stay with me guys, watch it till the end. So we will start with the recent list of earthquakes here at Campi Flegrei, and we see it basically starts after Vesuvius was finished with his 2 earthquakes here. Then let's say January 13th, 1.0, 1.5, 1.3, 1.2, 1.1, 1.1. So that was a larger one. And imagine guys, I'm only showing you in this list the earthquakes above magnitude 1. So there's more in the microseismic range. Then we had one on January 14th with 1.7. That was newsworthy. People felt it. Then we had one on January 7th, 1.6, and followed up by a 3.0, and then followed up by a 1.7. And then guys, while I'm editing my video, another swarm began, like 2.7, 1.2, 1.5. So it just doesn't stop. So this is the second swarm with a larger earthquake with the 2.7. You see them both highlighted here in gray, the 3.0 and the 2.7. People were scared. They were leaving their homes. They were being evacuated because of this. And I mentioned it at the beginning of this video. There are reports of residents who felt it. So Pozzuoli, that was basically the epicenter. I mentioned it. People were evacuating the houses. That's what residents have reported because it was so strong. Another resident of Pozzuoli has reported that it was a loud bumping, rattling, floor moved up and down, windows rattled, 2 quakes, second stronger than the first. That was probably the magnitude 3 quake, with mild movements after the main quakes. And then another report 1.6 kilometers away from the epicenter, but also in Pozzuoli. And by the way, I'm showing you the epicenter here in the map behind me. So came in 2 separate beats, frames fell down. And then another one in Pozzuoli says, second one, much stronger, lasting, and came approximately 30 seconds after the first quakes. And then someone in Naples reported that was 5.6 kilometers northeast of the epicenter. I was sitting on my couch and I felt light shaking, but I heard the sound of windows rattling and one of the windows opened by themselves. And same thing for Baccioli, that is 6.2 kilometers away from the epicenter. Inside, shaking for a long time inside the house. 4.8 kilometers away from the epicenter in Fuorigrotta, shaking, both vertical and horizontal swinging. And this has been reported also by people directly on the epicenter in Pozzuoli. They said shaking, both vertical and horizontal swinging. Same thing in Quarto. They said swinging. 15 to 20 seconds, everything was swinging. Same thing from Naples. They said desktop moved side to side, lamps were swinging, and we felt vibrations. Way more reports about horizontal swinging. Pozzuoli knocked pictures down the wall, knocked stuff from the shelves. Naples, horizontal swinging, sideways swinging. an interesting Pozzuoli vibration and rolling, 5 to 10 seconds. Quarto, Naples, rattling, vibrating. Monte di Procida in Naples, Campania, 7.3 kilometers west-southwest of the epicenter. Sitting in my chair, noticed the lamps moving and other furniture rocking. So this goes on, a lot of reports about it. And also the local press reports about it, that there were 3 larger earthquakes today on Friday and happening in the evening this time, almost 6 p.m. And the epicenter was again in the area where we have the caldera, the solfatara of the Flegrei fields, at low depth, at shallow depth. And they call this is a Bradyseismic shock. Bradyseismic shock means there's a Bradyseism going on, means the land is rising because something is coming to the surface, something's growing underneath, and they have confirmed that there is a magma chamber at shallow depth that is preparing for something. So it was felt, like I said, in Naples, Bagnoli, Fuigrota, Pianura, Agnano, in all these districts of Naples. And it was distinctly felt in the municipalities of Monte di Procida, Quarto, Pozzuoli, but also in Marano di Napoli. So the seismograph that the INGV has at the Solfatara to measure the seismic event, scientists say when they look at the reading, it is evident that the double shock that it was getting then was rather intense. And that's what's matching with what we just heard from the residents, that there was like 2 earthquakes followed by after each other. Although there were actually 3, but they were so close together. I mean, if you look at the list, at 5:53 and 21 seconds, the 1.6, and then the 3.0, basically just 29 seconds later, and then the next one 24 seconds later. So can you even tell that it's different earthquakes? Probably because every earthquake comes with a new roar and sound. That's what the residents are reporting. It really makes an intense sound. So far, everyone seems to be okay. There has no reports that someone was lost. You see a graph here of the intense shaking, basically of and how it looks like the first shock and then the 3 and the 1.7, they basically mix with each other. And what the INGV also states, if we look at the week from January 6th to January 12th, 44 earthquakes were located. And since the beginning of last August, the average value of the uplift speed of this land rise in the area is still about a centimeter like that per month. It used to be a little more around April and May. It used to be twice that much, but it's still continuously rising. So if you look at this map here where the blue star is, you see this is the epicenter of the earthquake, and the more darker and more intense blue a square is, this is where it was felt more intensely. This is where a lot of reports came from these areas. These kinds of reports that I just read to you a few minutes ago. And now let's talk about the new discovery that the INGV has made, the Italian Institute for Geophysics and Volcanology. And that is really interesting. An ancient submerged volcano underwater and a large landslide under the Sea of Ischia. So that is interesting. Is that connected to Campi Flegrei? So this is a large caldera that they have discovered there. It's not small. And also with that, they have found a large landslide. And landslides underwater, that is never good because they can cause tsunamis, and they can cause large tsunamis. So if we have underwater volcanoes like Marzilli, for example, that has like walls built up and they could collapse, that could cause tsunamis. If you're interested in Marzilli, this one is really a scary one. It's also scary looking if you look at the underwater pictures. Check out my video that I have made about this. I'll put it in the end screen as well. This is really, really fascinating stuff. So why is this discovery so important for what's going on right now? It helps them to understand the evolutionary history of that area and the volcanic activity of Campi Flegrei. And it is so important to learn more about the history and what really happened, because, I mean, thankfully, Campi Flegrei hasn't erupted in our lifetimes or since really scientific documentation was happening. So the more they can find out, the better to be able to estimate, okay, what this volcano is doing right now, what could this mean? Because this is so highly densely populated. We're talking about an area with over 6 million people if you go from Pozzuoli to Naples and Vesuvius. So basically the people between Campi Flegrei and Vesuvius, we're talking about more than 6 million people. And the people are living right on the volcano, on Campi Flegrei. Campi Flegrei is so widely spread over 100 kilometers that people didn't notice it. I mean, it's not like it's an excessive mountain like Vesuvius where you see, oopsie, there was something going on. And even there, they were settling around the footsteps of Vesuvius. But Campi Flegrei is like these craters, but you don't see it. Only if you see the aerial picture, you might think, well, is this like bombs, large bomb craters? What is this? Like asteroids hitting the earth? No, it's volcanic craters. And the action right now is in Solfatara. Basically, that's where Pozzuoli is, and they're building right in. It's very fertile soil because it's volcanic, so people settled there. And the INGV considers Campi Flegrei as a super volcano, and it is considered as one, if not the most dangerous volcano in Europe, and also one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world. And it is thankfully right now known mainly for the frequent earthquakes that it's producing right now due to its activity in the area of Pozzuoli and in the western areas of Naples. But something that is not known at all, I mean, we know the historic eruptions, yeah, how these craters were formed, but do we know anything about Campi Flegrei's underwater volcanic activity? We know that it stretches into the port of Pozzuoli, and we know, should there be an eruption starting underwater, that would be even worse than an eruption, let's say, in the Solfatara, because underwater, such a massive force that would not only send a massive eruption towards these 6 million people with lava flows, pyroclastic flow, everything, but also a massive tsunami. Estimates from scientists are up to 100 feet, that's 30 meters, would within a very, very, very short period of time hit the coastline, their coast of Naples. That would be like, I don't even want to think about it, like an absolute doomsday scenario. So underwater volcanic activity, they have found this massive, massive crater. And that crater needs to come from something, right? And we all know if we find a crater, there has to have been some activity. So has there been a massive past eruption with a massive tsunami? There's a recent study that was looking into this. It was carried out by the INGV, but also by the Institute of Marine Sciences of the National Research Council. And they have it just came out. So they have discovered an ancient caldera and a large landslide under the sea, basically off the coast of Ischia. And what one of the main results of this study is this large scale caldera that has never been described before. And what is this based on? It's based on the morphological analysis of the seabed and magnetic anomalies that they found. So this discovery could be something big, guys. I really think that. Really important to understand the history of Campi Flegrei and how the current Campi Flegrei area was formed. And of course, the island of Ischia as well. So they have mapped that crater now, but another significant finding in this study is also that they were able to map this massive landslide that might have been a result of a previous underwater eruption. So that landslide extends for tens of kilometers, so very, very long. And scientists are saying that this landslide could be the result of events related to the instability of these volcanic slopes. As I just said, if there's an underwater eruption, there's walls building up from magma coming out, and that can be unstable, like it is at Marsilli. And then one of these crater walls collapses. And it's like you're sitting in your bathtub and you put your arm inside the bathtub. It creates quite the wave. And this is or if you're even moving your leg underneath the water, try this out if you had never have. Or even in a pool, same thing. You create waves. And the larger the mass that you're moving, the larger the waves. They have used high-resolution magnetic surveys, both through airborne and also naval surveys. Very, very interesting stuff, guys. And then they have cross-referenced these findings. So they say the magnetic anomaly data, both surveys found that. And then they have referenced it with seismic data. And what all these institutions are saying, so this is the result, that they have all worked together and that this is so important and that they need to do more of that. Like more institutions need to work together on one topic to solve one problem. And that's also, by the way, what Thorvald in Iceland always points out. He works for the University of Iceland, and then there's the meteorological office in Iceland. If you follow my channel, you know what I'm talking about. And he criticizes, he said we should work together a little more because they're always colliding a little bit with their opinions. So have one goal and work towards that, work together. What is the takeaway from this study? What are the scientists are saying? They say our study offers a clearer vision of the underwater geology of the Campi Flegrei, opening up important potential for reflections of the mitigation of volcanic risk in one of the most densely populated areas of Italy, and then revealing the importance of marine geophysics in monitoring and studying areas at volcanic risk. Yes, I absolutely agree. So this is just a quick overview about this study. I will go in more depth in my next video. I just wanted to throw this out at you because I really think it's important. But another thing that is important, so there's a report, the year-end report for the year 2024 about what has happened at Campi Flegrei. And guys, 6,700 earthquakes. It's been rattling. Basically, this current Bradyseism coming with the land rise and the seismic activity has started since 2019, and eruptive activity has been geologically demonstrated in findings for over 60,000 years. But right now, Campi Flegrei hasn't erupted since 1538 when Monte Nuovo was created, that crater. So at the moment, there are no active volcanic eruptions at Campi Flegrei, but we see secondary volcanic activities, such as the gas emissions, these fumaroles in the Solfatara crater that are getting a little bit hotter. Residents are reporting more and more that they smell the sulfur, and the increase in earthquakes. And if we look at that graph here, definitely around April, May, that's when we saw the most earthquakes, and also the earthquakes with the highest magnitude, that 4.4 earthquake that really terrified people in Pozzuoli. They were running on the streets. You might remember if you follow my channel, and if you don't remember, you should follow my channel, guys, then you know all about that. In May 2024, 1,525 earthquakes alone in 1 month. That's when we had the 4.4. Lowest number of earthquakes was September, only 160 events. So people thought, oof, is it over? Is it slowing down? It's not. So overall, you can say it's a monthly average of 561 earthquakes, and even the 1-point-something earthquakes, they are felt by the residents. So it's not really comfy, and that's why, you know, the scientists, many scientists actually have said they should at least partially evacuate the area around this Solfatara, but it hasn't happened. Kudos to what's going on in Ethiopia. I've reported about that as well. They're in the process of evacuating over 100,000 people. So although they don't have many monitoring stations in place, they are quite precautious. But it's difficult in Italy, right? Where would people go? They don't want to leave their homes. I mean, it's the same thing in Ethiopia, but you know, they are evacuating. Italy is not, despite the warnings of scientists that work for the INGV, for the Vesuvius Observatory, seasoned scientists are giving these warnings. So since November 2005, when they started recording this ground uplift, this land rise, they have recorded a total uplift of the ground of 1.36 meters. So that's if you do a very large step. But since January 24 alone, it has increased 18.5 centimeters. So that's a large portion. So let's not forget, this is attributed to the pressure of magma or gas in the subsoil, but they're pretty sure it's magma, and they're also pretty sure that this magma already has an explosive state, which means could not give them much warning time. So alert level right now is still classified as yellow, although in December 23 already they said they might switch it to orange, but they haven't. There were many discussions. Tourism, property values could go down, does not create a panic. So it hasn't been raised yet. There are 4 alert levels. The lowest is green, then yellow, orange, and red. I will stay on the pulse of this, guys, for you. If you want to know what's going on in Hawaii, it just had another episode of an eruption that they haven't seen in many years. It's a little bit non-typical for the last few years. Check out my last video, guys. It's also interesting, and I would love to see you here on a regular basis. Subscribe, leave this video a like, help me push it out a little bit. And if you want to support the channel, which is of course greatly appreciated, please go to my buymeacoffee.com site/silky and buy me a coffee or two. The ones that know me, it goes towards my animals right now, to Apollo's horrendous vet bill for his cancer treatment, but also to the horses on the farm for horse hay bills that are crazy. So yeah, thanks so much for you doing this. Thanks so much for the ones that have already done that. It's greatly appreciated, guys. I hope you're all doing great, and more updates very, very soon. And I'll also release a few more updates in my membership section. Then you know what I'm up to at the moment, how things went. It's a little bit stressful right now. A lot is going on. So as soon as I have time, I'll give my members an update. So if you want to become a member, if you're interested in that, join our wonderful, wonderful group. The link for this, to how to join, click the join button that YouTube provides, or go into this description of this video. It's basically underneath the video screen. There you find all the information, how to go to the coffee site, and you can register there for free so that you can follow me. I'll send you an email if there's a new eruption coming, which could be pretty soon, in 2 to 3 weeks. Within that time frame in Iceland, it's getting ready again. So yeah, follow me there for free. You don't have to buy a coffee to do that. But if you want to, of course. Thanks, guys. Now I'm silent. Rudi needs to do some cuddling. I think he's sitting next to me. You can't see him. I cut that out so that you can see the maps better. So check out the videos in the end screen. Bye bye, guys.